Welcome back to the Hustle Brothers Christmas special. My name's Liam.
And I'm Reese.
And we're here today for a nice celebrations day, Reese. We've done it 4 weeks in a row. We're ready for Christmas. How are you feeling?
Yeah. Oh, it's good. It's good. It's ticking along. Christmas is only 2 days away. And it's a very exciting time of year, I guess. Very busy time of year, though, as well. A lot of Christmas presents to get, Christmas parties. A lot of work needs to be finished off before the break. But
that's what I think.
We're here now, aren't we?
It's one of those times. I know some people be a little bit disappointed that we haven't got as many videos out. We still have quite a few videos going out, but we're not getting as many videos out as we used to. I know I'm starting to make some of my videos subscriber only. And the reason why is I want to reward the people that are with us for the long term. So why give it to everyone when these are the guys that are supporting us through and through? So a lot of my videos don't subscribe only.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good way to reward the people that sort of believe in our channel and see where it's going, and also they're the enthusiasts that have the same passion as us, whether they agree with us or don't agree with us. In the case of a bag,
and that's the thing, guys. As we're going through today's stream, make sure to drop down as many comments as you have, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. We'll discuss them, we'll break them down. And do you know what I want to do with today's format, Reese? As we're going through the stream, instead of, I know what we used to do, we used to talk through the news and then we'd talk to the comments. Why don't we talk to the comments and do the news at the same time?
Yeah, I think let's mix it up. It's a Christmas special anyway, isn't it?
A Christmas special, yeah. Get the beers up.
Yeah, 100%.
So we'll start off with a bit of Evtol anyway. That's what we're here for.
That's what people have come to see.
So, really, what are we doing this week? The likes of Joby has had a bit of a fallback this week. It's went back.
Yeah, it has done. Yeah, it sort of contradicts what the news that's come out. So they've had that. The Joby had the tail certification approved. And that seemed like a major. That's another one more of them building blocks for the FAA type certification. So there was part of the tail certification was approved this week, but it's just one step along 1,000 steps, really. But it was good news.
Announcements now, and it feels like we all just want this certification. And I feel bad when I'm putting videos out and I'm going, certification update. It just feels like if we're going to do a video about every little type of certification that comes through, I was happy to see the tail get certified. However, I didn't know that was going to be a big announcement, to be fair.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. I think that's the only thing at the moment. It feels like they're holding back. They should be maybe publicizing it a bit more. It seems like a major piece of news that's out there. But as always, we had it covered, and I think it was good news. It's funny though because the stock market doesn't always reflect the good news that you see. So sometimes you get good news, and then you look at the stock market, you're like, that's gonna have rallied, and then the next thing you look at, and you're like, why has it done the complete inverse of what you were expecting?
Well, it's a bit like today. We got an announcement today. Joby have just brought out another aircraft that they have. In the running. They have now 4 active and flying, and that is past its airworthiness certification. So that'll be getting some flight data for us. But the market looks like let me show the guys here. The market looks like it is just it's 1.1% down as we're going. For some reason, this won't let me present.
I think we've sort of reached that stage of the year though where we are going to get a bit of pullback. Always around December sort of time, you do see people selling out, maybe getting a few Christmas presents and stuff like that. I'm not really taking too much of a hit of it. Like, it'd be terrible now if we found some really bad news and that was the result of the pullback. But all the news that's coming out is quite positive.
And then another thing I want to say, with the likes of Joby and Archer, like we're looking at Joby there, and we can compare that again to Archer. Archer's down on the day again, but if we compare it to the week, they had an all right average week. I think it was pumped up first of all with that factory opening. We'll talk a little bit about that. You done a video on Lilium, and I think sometimes when we start looking and getting news about these companies like Lilium that are going through the troubles, is that influencing investor sentiment then? Thinking, what if this happens to the likes of Joby and Archer?
Yeah, that's 100%. I think it does create a little bit of fear in the market. Obviously, Lilium were the pioneer in this industry. They looked like they were going to be the first to market. They looked like they were the Joby and Archer of their time. So there might be a bit of investor confidence now, where they're sort of almost looking at Lilium and thinking, is that just a mirror being held up to Joby and Archer? But I do think that Joby and Archer are probably, they were able to watch Lilium, find out the mistakes Lilium made, and then were able to say, oh, actually, when we do this, we'll do X, Y, and Z, which is a complete plan, basically.
Guys, let me know, are any of you in Lilium at the moment? Are you holding out to see, are they going to be bought by any outside investor? Do you think they'll get relisted under a different ticker if they do? To be fair, myself, I think they could potentially get bought out, but I think they'll go private. I don't think... I'm not sticking my money in it, put it that way. What are you doing?
No. Personally, I wouldn't be touching it really with a barge pole. I think maybe 10 years ago, maybe we might have had a slightly different opinion on it. But like after seeing the results and the financial woes that they're in at the moment, it would be very risky. It
makes me even more bullish on the likes of Joe and Adam Goldstein. They're steering through these hurdles nicely.
I think the problem with Lilium, they were reliant too much on government spending, whereas it seems like Joby and Archer are going to private companies to get private investment. Like trusting the government to try and fund your business is risky if you haven't got any sort of ties to the government. And like something like an Evtol, I don't know if it's absolutely necessary to be funded by a government.
Yeah.
When you have like healthcare and actual defense.
And then speaking about government contracts and stuff like that, we had Archer announce this week officially that Archer Defense is fully up and rolled. So Joseph Pantalone's going to take over that side of the business. There is an advisory board full of 6 military veterans. The only thing with the advisory board, I looked at that, and it's great because it's a defensive side of the business to have all these defensive minds. But would you like to see a business head in there?
Yeah, I think, but like I imagine what they'll do, it might be like a Splinter Cell division where they're talking about more how do we get it into the military and how can it be most efficient in the military, and then you probably will have maybe just above them, a team above them that deal more with the financial and stuff like that, and how will we like sort of market it and how will we get it in. But these guys, if they're veterans and they've been in the game for a long period of time, it can never help having a team of 6 or 7 lads that are in the game. They know what they're like. They know what their counterparts would have wanted, and then they can report that back, and we can say, "Oh, this is what we need to do to get in there." They've got like insider information, hypothetically.
Now, do you think Joby are missing a trick?
Yeah, and I think
Archer having a defensive side.
Yeah, and I think it's been reflected in the share price at the moment. You see that their share price, there's a stark difference there. It's major news, isn't it? And we all know every country I've seen has major defense budgets, and it seems like they're almost endless, really. So it's such a good piece of news for Archer, and I can imagine all investors are seeing it as like just a blank check.
Yeah.
As long as they can prove the concept.
And then we had Archer announce the opening of their factory in Covington, Georgia, 400,000 square foot. I know they're aiming to do up to 2 aircrafts per month. So really, we could be looking at 15 to 24 aircrafts come 2025.
I think this is.
With that? Are you?
I think first and foremost, we've got to give a big shout out to Dylan Rogers because I think he was the one that spotted it in the video.
Yeah, he did.
So he broke the news before the news was broken. So
he
yeah,
did
big
break
shout to
news
him.
before it was broken. He's seen it in Adam Goldstein's interview with
He did,
CNBC. He spotted
He read
that
between
and
the lines.
that's straight away.
Yeah, and that's the exact reason why we're doing this, because if you have 1,000 set of eyes on it, people will pick up on these small minutiae of details, and yeah, it's brilliant news for everyone. The fact that they've got that manufacturing plant is a great step for them towards the commercialization. Obviously, 15 to 24, we're going to hope they're going to scale that up significantly in the following years, but it's definitely the first step of the journey that we need to complete.
I know it's 400,000 square foot at the moment. They're looking, they could expand it to 550,000 square foot coming within the next decade, they said, but I would hope within the next 5-7 years. They reckon at its maximum, it'll be producing about 650 Midnight aircraft. I would like to see at its full production, it'll produce about 2,100. I think if they can start getting some of these factories popping up left, right, and center, if you could even get one out in likes of the United Arab Emirates, I think Archer will start tipping their nose. I'm not saying in front, but towards that line.
Yeah, I think so, definitely.
Then, because it's a Christmas special, we could talk a little bit about catalysts going into 2025. So, the biggest catalyst we could say is FAA certification. That needs to happen in 2025. More than ever, it needs to happen. Like, if we look this week, Archer had a shareholder meeting on the 20th of December.
Yeah.
And basically, with their preliminary results, they've authorized basically double the amount of shares authorized.
Yeah, we've seen this.
Is it 3 million of these shares are going to Stellantis?
Yes, I've seen that.
So is that going to be good? Is it good or bad news? It's giving Stellantis more skin in the game, yet we haven't seen much from Stellantis since their CEO stepped down. Do you think giving them more shares is good, or would you like to see a little bit more?
So I sort of see this more of like a chain of events in terms of like the Georgia factory has been completed. They now obviously need money to like create these aircrafts. They've then said they're going to dilute the shares so they get more money. It's sort of like a chain that they're following on. And assuming that these shares are being diluted so they can create more aircrafts and maybe push for that certification, I think that is going to be a good step in the right direction. Now, obviously, for the share price, it might not be exactly what we all wanted here, but I can see it like if you look at in the big picture, if we're looking in like a short picture, then it's terrible. But in the big picture, it's probably what needs to happen in order to progress this and get it to where it needs to go.
Well, I think it's a cushion, isn't it? It's one of those. It gives institutes and partnerships more confidence that Archer is here to stay. So when you've cash on the books, people are more likely to invest in you. There's a lot more confidence going to be around the stock. You look at Archer, like if we compare that over the last 2 months or so, it's massive pump up. We said it'll probably touch the all-time high again. I would like to see a little bit of a pullback now, just because this has accelerated up very, very quickly. And anything that goes up that quick comes down quick. So a little bit of a pullback wouldn't be too bad. I think as well, if we do see dilution, it will artificially pull us back. But I'm happy to see dilution at this level, so I hope it gets over the line.
Agreed, yeah. If it was at $3.21, hypothetically, I would be very worried. I thought that could be detrimental to the stock. But we're sitting here at $9.37. They dilute it, and it's still double what it was maybe 2 months ago. You're saying that they're looking at a lot more healthy position than they were 2 months ago, and they've probably got double the amount of cash reserve. If that
would you like to see Joby pull a stunt like that, double the amount of shares outstanding?
The problem is if you don't know the finances, you don't know how much money they need, and I don't want them just to do it just for the sake of it. If they're quite confident that they can get FAA certification and the Ohio factory up and running, then no, of course, like I don't think you should dilute just for the sake of it. However, if when they need to get their Ohio factory running and they need to like start creating these crafts, then yeah, I would definitely advise and to try and do it when the stock price is at an all-time high rather than trying to do it when it's closer to the low.
Yeah. Then we have, so you mentioned one of them there. One of the catalysts for the likes of Joby would be the Dayton, Ohio factory. We want to know what the progress is on that. Will we be seeing in 2025?
Like, I'm sort of torn between the two at the moment. So we have, on one hand, it looks like Joby are further forward with the FAA certification. Like we've seen it here with their tail certification earlier this week. And then on the other hand, they have no factory. Whereas Archer don't give us any sort of information with the certification and what stages they're at, but they have a factory up and running. And you'd imagine they must be progressing because they have a factory. You wouldn't get a factory and then try and figure out certification. They must be running in a cohesive pattern. You couldn't be just doing it. Do this one and start this one.
What's the point in getting certified and not having the ability to mass produce these vehicles?
Yeah. And then what's the point of having to mass produce certified? Yeah. So it's a weird one at the moment because I think we get that question a lot of like who's further in front. And at this moment in time, it's like half a dozen on one and 6 of the other.
Yeah.
Like
it swings and roundabouts. It's do you build your manufacturing capabilities before you get certified, or do you get certified, double down, get certified, bang the nails in the coffin for the final product of aircraft? So at the moment, we're both in prototype stages. Do you get your final assembly ready and then mass produce?
And or are Joby like sort of relying on that Toyota? Toyota obviously almost mastered mass production of cars, and they've maybe said it only takes 6 months to get this up and running and efficient. So don't worry till you get certified. Who knows, really, at this point? Who knows? But it does seem strange that Ohio factory was promised in March 2024 this year, and we've not had any developments. You'd have thought we'd have had like, oh yeah, it's coming this day, or sort of like the Georgia manufacturing plant, where we had got the updates like sort of periodically.
So I'm going to jump into some of these comments here. We said we'd free it up a little bit. So we had John Smith, can't wait. John, you're always here. Thank you so much for being here. We have our one and only Dylan Rogers. Thank you. It's an awesome surprise. I know there was a little bit of confusion in the Discord. So yesterday I said that we're going live 9 p.m. GMT. I think a lot of the American guys got a little bit confused and thought the stream was yesterday, not stream today. So thank you so much for coming. Rogers, hey John. I just bailed early from the closing bell person I watched to make it here to start the Christmas special. Thank you so much. Dylan is a massive supporter. He's a premium member to us. We still have your Vertiv in the Road to Glory. Do you know what? After watching that video you done race on Vertiv, I'm still quite bullish on Vertiv.
Yeah. I think there's certain stocks where you believe in what they're doing and you can sort of see where it's going. So it doesn't really matter if they pull back or go forward. You can see over the course of a year or two, it'll be where we need it to be.
I hold my Archer instead of buying the white gifts. I might be in trouble this year, but she might be really happy in 10. That's right. You can buy her in 10 years' time. You'll be delighted that you're flying around on a midnight aircraft with me and Reese drinking champagne. Yeah.
You're a braver man than me, Dylan. That's all I can say.
You're a braver man than me because that is deadly. Yeah. Are you guys actually brothers? Do you know what? I'll let you guess. Why haven't any larger companies bought Joby or Archer? It seems like if Evtol's had a future, this would be done. Joby and Archer is quite big at the moment. Like, I feel like they get past that stage. They'd need someone major like Tesla to buy them.
I think there have been a few big investments, but I can see maybe what some of these companies might do is wait till they reach certification and then buy into them.
Yeah.
So like they're just sort of minimizing their risk or anything like that. But let's see, if we're hoping it's going to be next year that they get that certification, and I think you could see a lot of these larger companies investing in. But let's watch this space, I guess.
Mark Ocean, will you just clarify for me that do you mean like buy them outright or do you mean invest in them? Because it'd be a completely different answer either way. With the lead time that Joby spoke in their manufacturing, being that Archer's Georgia factory is open for occupancy, do we know how much of the materials infrastructure are already inside the Georgia factory? I know they said they are starting to ramp it up come February time. I don't know how much production is going to be done before then. I was just happy to see it open, to be fair, in the timescale they said they would get it open by. But if anyone has any ideas on what type of materials or infrastructure is already inside the manufacturing facility, please let us know.
Yeah.
Archer already making orders for parts in their new factory. Joby is behind reflecting share price. I'd be very careful saying that. Joby have a bigger market cap, so share price doesn't mean nothing really at this stage. I still think Joby, when it comes to certification, are ahead. I do think Joby does have something up their sleeve. I think we can get blinded a little bit looking at Archer because we've had loads of good news this last while. So I don't know. I think Joby are quite strong.
Yeah. I'd replicate that, to be fair. I think Joby, don't count Joby out of this race. That's what I would say. They look like they're making the biggest strides.
Am I getting a little bit of feedback from your mic, Grace? So, Lane Freeze, do you know the lead time it takes to get those parts on site to Georgia?
I think that might be your mic there, Liam, because I'll mute myself here.
Perfect.
And it's still crackling. Try speaking.
Yeah. We seem to be getting a bit of feedback, but it'll be okay. Thanks a lot, guys. You think the price may go down a little bit, add more?
I don't know about the comments, but my mic for you isn't working. Sounds like there's like a crackle to it.
Yeah, that's what I seem to feel. Guys, will you let us know if you are hearing this crackling sound?
Are you hearing the same from when I speak?
No, it's every time I speak, I can hear it.
Yeah, because that's it. It sounds like a Darth Vader sort of, or I don't know. It's got a crackle to it.
It's E-Hang trying to stop us.
Yeah, should have never done that video.
Thanks, that guys. Do you think the stock price may go down a little bit to add more? I could see a massive pullback. If we get severe dilution, I do think it will pull back quite a bit. What do you think? Do you think it will pull back?
Yeah, I think it will do. To be honest, I think in the next few weeks we'll see just that like sort of Christmas pullback, and then I do think it will rally again. Even with Archer as well at the moment, with that share dilution, almost like they're doubling the shares. I'd be wary of Archer just for the short term. It could be a time to sell off that 20% that we discussed before, and then add back in at a lower price. But we don't actually know whether they are diluting at this point. They might be given a cover note like they did for Rocket Lab.
Yeah. Most of existing equipment will be shipped to new plant, I would think, in about 2 months before parts ordered are filled. Reese, do you want to take over in the comments here? And I'm going to see if I can get a new mic.
Yep, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I think that's basically what Liam was speaking about earlier, where they're sort of saying they're going to fully ramp up by February. So I'm expecting them that they're going to have this Georgia plant now is to the stage where they can start ordering everything in and start upping the design and manufacturing of these aircrafts. The thing that I'm probably most curious at the moment is, if you haven't reached certification, how do you manufacture the craft? Like, I know you could probably do the basics to shell, hypothetically, but are you going to end up creating a craft and then having to adapt it afterwards, or have they got some sort of agreement there where they can manufacture to a certain point, and then there's only slight queries on different parts? But at the moment, I couldn't really find what stage of certification Archer are at. I know Joby are at stage 4. So stage 5 is where you actually try it in the real world and see how the aircraft fares. But for Archer, it's sort of a moving target because they haven't actually released anything. They've only released that they have done this manufacturing plant. So moving on then. Yeah, so Blaine, unfortunately, Liam's the one that's got the can control the comments. But Blaine has asked about another dilution, and that's basically what we've just covered there. That they've had a shareholder meeting, and they've discussed that they're going to add double the shares. So at the moment, we know that they're giving 3 million to Stellantis because they've obviously got that pre-arranged agreement. But at the moment, we don't know if that is going to be shares that they dilute, or is it going to be a case of, I don't know, another company where they're going to end up buying the shares and selling them off to them. I guess we're going to find out.
So, can you hear me okay now?
No, that's still... Speak again.
Quite bad, is it?
Yeah. I think Dylan said something about checking the echo.
Can you turn down the volume on your computer for a second?
Yeah, turned it on.
Perfect. Is there any echo off it now?
It's still, unfortunately, still sounding like the robot.
Perfect. What I will do, I will try and test some of the echo. Can you hear me now?
Technical difficulties, eh?
And guys, thank you so much for 8 of you waiting with us.
Yeah. I don't know if any of you guys have been on a Teams call or anything, but I feel these things they happen at least one in 10.
It has to happen on the Christmas special as well, doesn't it? Still echoing, yeah?
Still echoing a bit, yeah. It sounds almost like the mic hasn't been fully plugged in. I guess moving on then. So Blaine Freezer saying that her his buy-in is at 288 and won't get that again. That was an incredible price to buy in at. You've beaten me anyway. So I imagine you're laughing at this point, and I'd say we'd do very well to touch that again. I'm taking it. Yeah. Now I can't imagine we'll touch down to that. If we do, it would be slightly alarming. But yeah, no, that's a great price to get in. Dylan saying about the great place to be when you believe enough in a company where dilution doesn't scare us off. It makes us feel a better product will come from the dilution. That's exactly it. I think that reiterates basically what we were saying earlier. I see it as they're trying to build a cash reserve to get the product to market. There is no point of designing a product, getting a product approved, and then having no cash to build the product. Like, unfortunately, this is only a part of business that sometimes you're going to have to kill, or you have to basically do an extra few, get an extra few shares in order to fund the development of the product. But then once they can actually mass market it, they'll be looking a lot better, a lot healthier. Sometimes it's just the calm, storm before the calm. I think anything under 5. Yeah, Blaine is saying anything under 5, and she'll be buying like crazy. Oh, here we go. Here's Bag of Holding. So why would they need a factory if they don't have certification? So this is something that we were sort of speaking about earlier, and I think it's one of the queries that I sort of have, and it makes me think that they've maybe may have been given a steer to say you're sort of like on the right tracks, or there must be somebody from the FAA that has sort of said, yeah, you can proceed on this basis. So they've maybe given them a scope, or said that you can proceed building maybe the shell of the vehicle or something like that. There's no way that they would invest in an entire factory and then start ordering parts if there was no absolute information on the certification. I think it would be ludicrous really to buy the factory and then try and get certification when you've seen that Joby have been doing it for the past 5 years. Yeah, I think it would be madness really. Z Stacker is saying that Archer is on course if they Archer is on course if they hit each target, they will reign supreme. This is sort of what we were speaking about earlier in terms of, yeah, at the moment Archer are flying high, and this defense is just another bow to their string. I think Archer are at the moment, and I think even with their shareholder meetings, or their earnings call, that you're seeing they're better at presenting, and at the moment all the news that's coming out seems very positive for Archer. But don't undervalue the part certification that Joby have done and how much they've developed so far. Like Joby are really, I would say they're further ahead based on what I've read. Like I haven't really seen much with Archer, so it's very difficult to sort of weigh them up because you don't know. You've got a lot of information for Joby, but nothing for Archer, and you're sort of just basing all of your Archer information on the fact they have a factory. So would the factory mean that they must have done some? They must be at least at stage 3 or 4. They have to be, because you wouldn't have started a factory if you still had to go through stage 3 and stage 4. Stage 2 is just basically proving you have a design, whereas stage 3 and 4 is where you're actually getting to the technical side and how you're developing it and getting that over the line. What's the next one?
I hope that has fixed. No. Even worse.
I don't know what's happened today. There is if you go to the screen, on audio, there is a thing that says echo cancellation, stereo, reduce mic background noise, and all that.
Does that sound any better?
No.
No. I think this could be a StreamYard issue.
Blaine was saying that they won't be as worried about American certification if the Middle East countries will let it fly today, if they were shipping. They are still going to have to go through a certification process with the Middle East. It might not be as strenuous as the one in America, but like nobody wants to see deaths with the Evtols, and especially not Archer and Joby. As we said before, there is only one. They only get one shot at this. Like if you're sitting in the Middle East and one of these crafts go down, guess what? The entire eVTOL industry pretty much takes a massive hit. like that's when we will be down to the 288 prices, if not much lower. So yeah, for me, make sure all these certifications are done to the level they need to be done. The safety is paramount. Safety has to be the highest level, because the margin for error is just zero. And I think for them, I think they're all following in them footsteps anyway, and they're all very aware. Dylan saying that if Joby got certified but couldn't make the Evtols based on scale to manufacturer, can they sell off the proprietary rights on what they were able to get certified? If Joby was certified. Yeah, so I think that's sort of what Blade were sort of trying to do, where they would do sort of a system. I think this is what you're asking. So that you're saying that if Joby got certified but couldn't make the Evtols based on their scale to manufacture, can they sell off their rights hypothetically to like an Archer, and then allow Archer with their cash flow to get to a place where they'd be able to use the crafts, but then sell them out? And yeah, of course they could do this, but I can't see why Joby would need to, and I can't see Joby doing it, especially not to a direct competitor. I imagine in this space at the moment, you have Adam Goldstein and Joby Ben, who obviously are very aware of each other, both very intelligent men, and there will be egos there where they'll be like, no, I need to be the best in this field. You see it in all fields, basically. So yeah, I would be astonished if they managed to get to a stage where they were certified and then they ended up selling away their rights to a competitor, or even just to a major manufacturer, maybe like a Blade or something like that. I would be astonished with that, especially because these two are the biggest in this industry at the moment. Well, yeah, relative without EHang. Easy English. This is one close to our hearts, guys. Please, do you think we missed the boat with Rocket Lab, and is it overvalued now? This is a bit of a I think on the long term, I don't think. I think it will go up a lot more. We were quite lucky. We got into Rocket Lab when it was maybe $5, $4, $5. Yeah, around about that mark. So yeah, we made pretty decent gains, but very much like we have with Archer with these shared dilution, we actually had a stage where Rocket Lab diluted by selling away to another company, and the stock price dropped to, I think it was like 381 or something along those, 381, 372, something like that. So you can imagine if you buy in at I think my share price was 450, around about that mark, you're sort of sitting there at 20% loss, and you're very worried for that time. But like what we're saying with the Evtols, is when you believe in the actual product and you believe in the stock, you're more than able to stick in it and make sure that you're there till the end. And eventually it will come good. You're just basically waiting it out. But it doesn't make the red days any easier when you're looking at your account. I can tell you that for a fact. Anyway, Liam, are you back now?
Can you hear me right? No.
I don't know what's happened there.
I don't know what's happened, It has to be the computer. I can jump off and jump back on. I will talk to you in a minute.
Sound. Yeah, guess moving on then. So yeah, Rocket Lab, I think it is a bit overvalued now. It's a bit of a difficult one because we're sort of in limbo. If we're looking for the long term, another like 4 or 5 years, I think at the moment Rocket Lab are showing that they can deliver on the mass scale, and at the moment they've got a backlog of launches, but it's not down to Rocket Lab. It's down to the customers not being able to provide the rockets in time. But they seem like they're on the right road, and they've got a Neutron rocket that will be coming out very soon. I've just to let you guys into it, I'm still in Rocket Lab, and I will be looking to add if the price does come back down a little bit. I'm hoping for this December pullback and to get in a nice price. But we'll let you guys know anyway in our Road to Glory, and we'll discuss more of that probably towards the end of this video if we ever get Liam back. Bag of Holding, he's infamous on this channel. I think he's our biggest bear. So money can get a factory up and running quickly, but it can't get them certified quickly. And this is something that I probably actually do agree with the Bag Holding, in terms of once you've got it certified, finding the money to actually create the product is quite simple. But because we're in the eVTOL industry, you're discussing that you're basically in uncharted waters where there is no rules for an eVTOL, because an eVTOL has never existed before. So they're going to the FAA and they have to discuss what rules that they need to implement. Hello, you're back.
I'm back. Any better? No. Nah. Try and mute your thing for a second.
Yep.
Guys, if that's still echoing, let me know in the comments. Is it echoing on your one?
It must be someone up with the mic.
Seems to be my headphones as well. Computer must need them up there.
Do you have the can you unplug the mic and headphones and see if that works? Just speak to the laptop. Sorry, where was I? Yeah, money. Sorry about this, lads, my lads and ladies. The money to get a factory up and running quickly, but can't get them certified quickly. Very much so that once you have the certification and you have all the rules and regulations set up, and you have an agreement that this is our design and this is how we'll progress, the easy part of it then is saying, okay, this is the prototype, this is exactly all the parts we need, build this the next 100 times. The problem is getting to that stage where they approve it, because you're going to have a long period and a lot of regulations going back and forth of what about this, what about this, and the fact it's all uncharted waters, and the fact that it's so high risk because it's in urban areas, densely populated areas, where if the craft comes down, it's probably going to kill hundreds of people, as well as the people driving it, the people in the actual craft. How's that gone, Liam?
Can you hear me now?
There must be someone on the screen.
It has to be the screen. I'll let you continue and I'll pipe in now and again.
Yeah, fine. Do you want to do Z Stacker? Adam is a salesman that is really good for Archer and its products.
I'm not even getting any of the comments anymore.
Oh. It won't even give me the comments. But anyway, yeah, so Z Stacker just said, I think Adam is a salesman that is really good for Archer and its products. Yeah, I think that was sort of the consensus that we came here on the channel. We were sort of saying that Adam Goldstein seems like an excellent speaker and an excellent presenter. And to be fair, compared to maybe Joby's earnings call, it was, I would say, leaps and bounds ahead. And it filled you with a lot of confidence. But I don't think we can be blindsided by somebody who's a good presenter. At the end of the day, the results are what matters, and we'll see in the next coming months whose results were better. Blaine Freeze, no certification needed to fly test aircraft for the military. They've been flying experimental stuff for 100 years and years. Yeah, I think that the testing for the military might be less strenuous, especially if they're doing it in remote areas. But there's going to have to be some sort of testing. I don't imagine they're going to send out two soldiers to their as guinea pigs flying over the desert or wherever they were. So there will be some sort of certification, but this is another thing with the funding. If they are with the military, they should be getting additional funding, and that will help push certification as well as the manufacturing that they'll need for these crafts. Oh, sorry, Zed Stacker confirmed about what he meant earlier. Larger companies are investing in them, but they wouldn't just buy them outright. yeah, I think if you bought it outright, it's probably a lot of responsibility. And really, this industry is still in its infancy. We're not to the stage now where it's completely developed and it would just be a matter of putting your name on the door. You really got to pick this up and run it. And are the likes of Joe Ben and stuff like that going to be as driven if they were working underneath you? Or if it's not theirs, it's going to take the person at the head has got to be the spearhead of it and got to really drive this home. This is like, it's not going to be, this is like an easy mark. Just, I buy this company and it will just do this. The person at the top has got to be driven and has got to really want to push it and want to basically break the mold and make this the future of urban air mobility. So, yeah, I can't see a massive company just buying them outright. There's just far too much risk. And do they have the right people to drive it? And the other thing is, do they want to drive it? And do they have the same amount of experience as Archer and Joby at this point? I'm not sure. Dylan Rogers, with Joby and Archer doing cert on their own design, once it is certified, can another company come in and mass produce what they know is certified, or does each company own all the rights to the design? So no, I think what it will be is that each company can certify it, but the rules and regulations will become apparent. So like, these are the rules that you need to follow. These are the regulations you need to follow. So hypothetically, the barrier to entry would be a bit lower once that becomes a thing. Once like the rules and regulations are written up and this is basically the spec you need to follow. But these aren't, it's not like building a cart. This is a craft that's going to have to fly and will take an awful lot of design. And well, like Joby's been going since 2008 and Archer's been since 2018. So they would have, even if their design did get up to speed, they would have to catch up on a company that's the best part of 16 years, and then one that's best part of 6 years. A lot of time in the market. And the other thing is that they've been there and got the T-shirt for all the failed mistakes and stuff like that. To just pick up a design and then trying to design a craft, I don't think it's a 5-minute exercise. Z-Stacker, yeah, Rocket Lab is pricey now, but definitely DCA.
I'll jump in there with Rocket Lab being pricey at the moment. Look, guys, if you believe in a company, don't just look at the share price now. Rocket Lab is quite overvalued at the moment, but are they going to be overvalued in 6 months' time? Once we get the likes of a Neutron up and running, if there's a successful Neutron flight, I could see the stock double again. So I could see a $50, $60 stock once we get Neutron on the line. Bringing it back to eVTOLs, like to Joby and Archer, don't be afraid at the moment. Yes, we're looking at all-time highs, but if you truly believe in the company, why not buy at this height? You'll be gutted that you haven't bought at $10, $15, $20 if this does end up being a $1 trillion industry. So always back whatever you believe in, as long as you have a nice amount of due diligence behind you. Now, this is not financial advice. You could be killing me now next year. But what I want to say with the likes of Rocket Lab, look, me and you were hopping around with Rocket Lab when it was $3, $4. And then we were like, would we buy more at $5? Look, I wish I bought a hate more at $5.
Yeah.
So being pricey at the moment, yeah, definitely dollar cost averaging.
Yeah, because I think there was even there was a time there where we had it down to, I think, pulled back to $7.92 or something, and we were both discussing it, and we had long, lengthy discussions. We were going to put an extra part of our portfolio into it, and then we both sort of talked to each other out of it and said, "No, come on, now we've made 100% ish, and maybe it's best time to leave it there and play it safe." And then I'll be honest, we'd be sitting here now. We were literally speaking, saying like, "Can't believe we didn't put in a bit more." So like, I think it's one of those that nobody knows what the future is going to be. So as long as you're doing it and it's in moderation and it's stuff that you can sort of live with, and always be happy with the profits that you make. I wouldn't always think you need to, because you can always make more. but we don't know where it's going to go, because you can always make more, but you could also lose more. So just be happy with what you get.
Don't emotionally trade. That's one thing I would say. Don't let emotions get the better of you.
We try and push here with the blood in the water on the red days, only buying red days, because that is instinctively against what the market's saying. When everyone else is very confident, we're not buying, and when everyone else is fearful, we are buying. So it's basically trying to take away emotion from it.
Then we have Dylan Rogers. I think be careful if we get a pull. Have you read this one?
No.
No. I think be careful if we get a pull back. We have had a lot of good PR this last week or two. Could drop to $7 and consolidate. This would be a hard one to time bottom or short term top. I feel like if you're trading short term, don't try and catch falling knife. It's one of those, I wouldn't even try and put a price on it now, because if we get dilution, I wouldn't even try and say the likes of $7 range. We could start looking back at the $5 range. So I wouldn't panic when it comes to stock price at the moment. I'm extremely long term when it comes to both Archer and Joby. So really, I couldn't care less as long as the good news keeps coming out. As long as we get certification, I was happy to see the Georgia facility get complete when they said it was going to be complete. I know they're going to enter the United Arab Emirates. They're trying to get in there for about first quarter 26. They want to start operationalize. So if they get commercial operations in United Arab Emirates by first quarter 2026, I'm happy enough. So I wouldn't worry too much about timing prices. What about you, Ruth?
Literally, I just want to mirror what you said. It's always a very difficult to time the bottoms and the tops and stuff like that. Like as we said before about timing the market is better than timing the market. And to be fair, I'd see the dilution as a time to just stock up. We'll be getting it at a good rate. It might, if it went back down to between the $4 and $5 mark, because I could see it maybe dropping to 5-ish, dependent on how they do it. But then there'll be a bit of fear, obviously, because it's dropped to 5 and people panic that haven't really read up on the stock. But it'd be a good time to add back in. And then if we do get back to the $20 mark we were sort of forecasting, wouldn't you be you'll be absolutely over the moon thinking that, oh, we got in for $4 and now look at it. But yeah, as usual, that's not financial advice. It's just my thought process.
Then, Bagger Holden, nice to have you here. I know Reese was talking to you, but I haven't seen you, so good to have you here. Archer can manufacture autonomous drones to try and impress the Department of Defense with Andrew, maybe. They can make swarms. Yes. I really want to know, is it going to be a midnight like aircraft they're going to make into a hybrid, or is it going to be a completely different aircraft? I know Bagger Holden really thinks it's going to be a small autonomous drone, but guys, please let me know, what do you think it's going to be? Do you think it's going to be a midnight aircraft turned into a hybrid, or is it going to be a completely different aircraft completely? As a shareholder, they put it to a vote. I voted for them to dilute. Blaine, that is exactly how I would. I didn't attend that meeting. I didn't vote. But that is what I would have voted for. I would have voted for dilution. I know people wouldn't like to hear it. I know people that are just in the stock won't like dilution, but as a long-term investor, we've spoken about before why we think we need to dilute at this level.
Well, I think we said it before in the streams that we had it with Virgin Galactic or Virgin, whatever. Basically, we were in the stock with them, and basically they were cash burning too quick, so their price went up to $8, and they should have really have diluted then, but for some reason they let it float back down to $3 and then decided to dilute and basically bankrupted the stock. So yeah, it's better to do it at a high price than a low price for obvious reasons. Get more money out of it.
This is not financial advice, guys, but do not go near Virgin Galactic. Speaking from two men that...
Yeah, this is from experience as well.
Quite a bit
genuinely from experience.
And don't leverage.
Don't leverage,
this already sounding better. Thank you. I don't know what's that from earlier, though.
Yeah.
If they hit 12, they will announce dilution, in my opinion. I don't know. Will they let it get that high? I think they're just going to dilute when they need it now. Good to see you here, Bag Holding and Zizdak. Insider Michael Spelsey sold 5 million worth at 10. He timed it perfectly. Could go higher, mate. Could you see Archer at $20 or Tesla at $9.50 first? It's basically a double for each company.
Yeah, personally, I think it depends on how much they dilute Archer. But Tesla, the way they're going, and based on Elon Musk sort of owning regulation in the government, I could see Tesla pushing 950 pretty soon. And I think by 2029, Tesla could be up in the 2000 and something. But this is talking about a fully established company that's been there for the last 20 years. And then Archer, it's a bit of a toss-up, I think.
I'm going to go against race.
Yeah?
And I am going to say I could see Archer get to $20 before Tesla does. I think Archer will get to $20 by the end of next year. Robotaxi, could we see it making a massive pump next year?
Full self. I've seen quite a few videos with the full self-driving being like pushed out, or trying to push it out now. That's what's making me think if full self-driving becomes operational, you'd imagine that would just double the price straight away.
I think it's going to be one of those things. I think they're going to happen around a similar time. It's like comparing apples and oranges. These two companies. I know they are both in the electric industry, but there's so much going on at Tesla. It could happen like that. So Archer, I do think, is going to be end of next year, pending certification. However, Tesla, Elon does promise an awful lot.
Yeah, his time. I wouldn't count his time frames for a lot though. He gives over-ambitious time frames to sort of like give people a target, but I think he knows that most of them are unachievable.
Merry Christmas and happy holidays to all. Thank you for your work and best of health and happiness for 25. Guys, I think everyone owes Reese a beer because he has saved my skin tonight.
Part of the team, and happy Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you as well, Brian, and all the rest of you that are watching today.
Some of the best days I have made a decision on investing was when I was too busy to look at the app for a day or two. Looking every day gets your nerves about every cent up and down. 10:30 red can hit. Reese, you were the one that taught me that. Delete the app off your phone.
Yeah,
just delete the app off your phone. You don't need to see it.
No.
It encourages emotional trading, and emotions are the biggest killer of long-term investors' gains.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're better just not seeing it.
Yeah. And if you believe that the stock's going to be good, like if you believe in the stock, it doesn't matter what the share price is. Like you'll just wait until the stock has done what they want to achieve. Similar to what we had with Rocket Lab, where they got where they were now. And I can see that with the same with Archer and Joby, is once they get the part certification and the commercialization, you won't care what the price is doing in the day-to-day because it would be miles above where we're sitting right now.
Well, going back to Tesla went up to like 330, then took a massive collapse down to like 170 or
100.
so.
100
at one point. 100 at one point.
When he sold it for Twitter, he went down to like 100.
Yeah. So
And now
if you never looked at Tesla in that whole time frame, you'd now be sitting what 440, 450.
Yeah,
So like,
crazy.
guys, emotions are everything, and just try and get the emotion. The more experience you get, it doesn't actually get any easier when it comes to emotions. You just learn how to deal with it. You still get that urge, on a green day when you see something pump 10%, you think it's going to go higher.
100,
like when Archer was going up, like, I do still feel that balls that I want to get in on the stock, but we now have a philosophy that we only buy on red days. Unless a massive extreme circumstance, but you've missed the boat by the time everyone else is jumping in on it. So I think Archer will have a cool looking prototype that can fly itself and see targets in the dark very soon, and people will be amazed with it. Most people don't know hobbyists can easily build that. So are you sort of saying that it's going to be a hobby type aircraft? Like a hobby could build the aircraft? I don't know. I think Archer's aircraft will be quite professional. They could get major marketing hype. And the military definitely needs swarms of smaller drones. I agree with that. Smaller drones could be quite beneficial for the military. Archer could make some and try to get Department of Defense contract with their useless factory until they get production certified for an Evtol. I can see the lines you're going down. I just don't know. Is that the plan, or are they gonna make a hybrid out of the Midnight? What do you think, Grace? Do you think they're going for smaller aircraft, or do you think it's going to be the Midnight, just a hybrid version?
There's literally been no news whatsoever about these smaller drones. I think this is a bag of holding, bit of breaking news.
Yeah.
I can't see why they would have seen the Midnight aircraft and then went, "Can you build us a drone?" I imagine they would have a drone manufacturer that would be doing it at the moment. Because I'm not from America, but I've seen that there's been a load of reportings of drones being flying over. So they obviously have a really good one at the moment because nobody knows what it is.
Was there news about it being big? No, there wasn't. But they are building big. Like, I'm just going off what I have seen.
What their standard is.
So it'd be like Tesla. If Tesla came out and said they're building a hybrid vehicle, I would not assume it's going to be a boat. I'm going to assume it's going to be a car. So I'm going along the same lines. They're making a passenger Evtol, so I think the hybrid is going to look pretty similar to their model of Evtol and just turn it into a hybrid VTOL. Guys, help me out with that. Do you think that's right, or do you think Bagger Holden's right, and do you think it's going to be like a, I don't know, flyable drone? The military wouldn't need big, slow electric drones with low range. Who said it's going to be low range? And who said it's going to be slow?
Big and slow, yeah.
It's not going to be big and slow like me. Like, I think if we just keep going on, it's going to go back into the same rabbit hole.
Yeah, this will be the 200 pounds.
Even after the Antler deal, Archer's PR was really big on showing off Midnight, saying something like innovation from tip to tail. Yeah, this is what I mean. I do think they're going to stand with the Midnight. I can see by gold. I do think they're going to stick with the Midnight type model. I just think it's going to be a bit like Joby's Hydrogen S4. I just think it's going to be the same as, may look slightly different to have your exhaust and that, but I do think it's going to be a Midnight type aircraft.
I think exactly that. Like, they specialize in one thing, which is the Midnight aircraft. For them to like invest into it, I can't see them like, can you just design a complete new craft for us? But Who knows? Bagger Holden could have some inside information.
Bagger Holden, I do enjoy you, but sometimes I don't know it. Are you doing it for the reaction, or do you actually mean it? Because sometimes some of the things are just mad, but I do enjoy you. I think worrying about the type of aircraft Archer get to military is a great problem to have. Yeah, I agree. Aren't you better worrying about what you could have? Prior to that, we're only hoping for commercial operations. The fact that this hybrid deal started is a huge let of growth we weren't really expecting a month ago. Yeah, I agree. The fact that this hybrid, I don't even like to say they've pivoted away, because they haven't pivoted away. It's just like another string to the bow. Adding hybrids to the mix does allow for a little bit quicker revenue coming in if we fail to get FAA certification for the Evtol. I do feel like, thinking back on what we said last week, the Department of Defense, I feel like if they want it, they're just going to, certified or not, they're going to get it out there onto the battlefield.
Yeah. I don't know.
When do you think Midnight will operate at USA airports? So once certification is achieved, like for Joby, first quarter, second quarter, maybe 26.
Yeah, I think maybe even pushing to 27, 28.
Yeah.
It
all depends on vertiport infrastructure and everything. It gets very complicated when we start thinking about when will they operate at specific locations. At the moment, we're waiting for it to be approved to fly in the USA. So actually dialing down like when it's going to go to USA airports, I don't know. I think they'll try and get in there as soon as they can after certification, but at the moment they don't have the infrastructure to get. We went from not knowing if they will fly commercial to now having a military deal in the works. Now, the only thing I would say is I do think they will get military deal eventually. However, I think some of us can think it's going to happen quicker than it will. This might take 3-4 years before they'd even look at a military type of deal. So we could have commercialization way earlier than any of these military deals. But I could be shooting down the wrong hole. I really think the military drones will not be big. They need prototypes that can stay up in the air and do amazing things with publicity. I agree with if the military want drones, I do agree they don't have to be big. However, I think, like you were saying, I think they have drone suppliers. Why would they become to Archer who don't make drones?
I'm pretty sure that these things are just being used to they're going to be used to carry cargo, ammunition,
cargo and people
and stuff like that. I don't think these aren't to go spy in behind the enemy lines, or I don't know. I don't think they're going to be attaching any sort of miniguns to the side of them and flying in.
Bag of holding on the side of it.
Yeah.
Something out of Call of Duty.
As long as he has to weigh underneath 200 pounds though, otherwise it can't go 5 miles.
Yeah. Me and Reese are out of the equation. You're right, they didn't pivot, they added Archer Defense. Yeah, I know I use the word pivot an awful lot. I really don't think they have pivoted away. The fact that they have added that defense side of the business, I am quite happy with. I just seen that last comment. Why would a hybrid Midnight change anything about cert? Isn't it still about tilting propellers and such cert either way? I do think they'd have to get a different type of certification just because if you look at the, I don't know, Airbus A380 compared to the Boeing 737, I can have bet there's different certification by them. Look, this is just me going off the top of my head, I might be wrong, but I think every aircraft, depending on what they have, needs to be certified differently. I do think it probably would be slightly easy to certify because they'll have that backup of an actual engine.
Assuming like it has the same parts as another aircraft that's been approved. I think like all of them parts get approved. The only thing that would have to be investigated for the certification would be the part that's different, the hybrid part. Basically that. How many cars these ones? They have
if the military wants drones, they have Lockheed. Yeah, great. There has to be a reason they would want a new hardware manufacturer like Archer.
Exactly.
That's why I do think it's just going to be like, do you know, if they were going into a battlefield, they don't know, are they going to have the likes of jet fuel, or are they going to have electric charging stations? I think these are going to be quieter, they're going to be more nimble, they're going to be quicker than the likes of your helicopters, and not half as loud. Imagine the sounds of, I don't know, what were you calling them last week? Ospreys coming in. I can't imagine they're too quiet. All the innovation has been coming firstly for the military and defence sector, so I can say this happening 100%. I do think when it does happen, it will be a big thing, and I do think it's going to be a massive catalyst for a leg up. And that's another thing. Wouldn't you be gutted that you didn't buy it $10 if this time next year we're sitting at $25? So, I do think it's going to be a massive thing. People need to look at Evtol as a bigger picture, considering other countries like China are developing them as well. We can't just fall behind in technological development. And this is one of our big passions. I think this is why me and you got into the start in the first place. It wasn't we necessarily looked at Archer and Joby and like, look, we're going for that. We liked the industry, and then we looked at who's doing it, and then we looked at the best ones on who's doing it. Exactly. I could see electric vertical takeoff and landing being massive. Air taxis are going to be part of the future. Whether people like to say it or not, for 100 years, people think there's going to be flying cars, which I don't like to call them. But it is the future. We can't just keep running off the ground. And the fact that they're going to be electric, as Elon himself has said, everything will go electric apart from rockets.
Yeah, exactly.
They want to make them cheaper. They said that there would need to be large eVTOLs that are ready for them to give. How do you mean? They want to make them cheaper. They said that there would need to be large eVTOLs ready for them to give them cheaper ones. Come back to me with that. So, Reese, what we'll do, we'll jump across. So, anyone that is new here, we do a road to glory. So, we go from $107 we started off with, and we go all the way to 107,000. We're doing it together as a community. None of this financial advice. So if you're following any of this, that's your own choice. I'd tell you not to follow us. Follow us for the excitement, for the entertainment. It's going to start ramping up. Me and Ray's been quite busy over this last month. Between you coming over here, me going up to my head office, and then this week was Christmas week. However, I think going forward, Ray's, I think we're just going to double down on our channel. Before we get into the road to glory, guys, let me ask you something. So, because it's a Christmas special, I want to look back on the year, for us anyway, Reese. It was the year this channel was made.
Yes.
We are now sitting at 1,326 subscribers.
Yeah, I'll have to check. Yeah, but it's around that ballpark figure there.
Could you ever imagine us getting this big? Not only this big, this quick, but this big.
No. I think I don't think we thought we'd get to the 1,000 subscribers as quickly as we've done, and even now it's even kicked on since then. Like we're already on 1,300, and we're pushing towards that 2,000 mark. Like at the moment, it's phenomenal. And we just really appreciate all you guys coming on, and you're all very insightful, whether you agree or disagree with us. So yeah, we just really appreciate you guys, and we're going to push on next year. We're going to make it better. We're going to do it bigger, and yeah.
And I will fix my mic, I promise.
Yeah.
And you know what, guys? One thing I promise you, I will change the color of this background, because I'm getting a lot of hate for this background. I'm getting a lot of hate for my mic quality. I'm getting a lot of hate for my camera quality. So I promise within the next month, I'll have that all done.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. I think next year will be the year where we get bigger and we get better. And let's hope that Joby and Archer are following the same vein. Because I know that's what the majority of us here are really hoping for. And I think we both said it already, where we can see the part certification seems to be in the works now. And it seems like the next step. It's the next step on the road to that commercialization, which is obviously the end goal, where the proof of concept is like proven, and we're starting to see them commercialized and pushed out on mass. But yeah, part certification is fundamental for next year.
Yeah, no, me going back to this channel, I think going forward, we're definitely going to be doing this every week. Evtol Weekly will be a growing space. It's going to get bigger and bigger. We're going to get more interaction. One thing I want to announce from this stream forward, I want to do something for Dylan. So Dylan gave me a few suggestions, this, that and the other. I'm going to start bringing guests on. So we could have the likes of anyone that is a member, 100%, they can call in whenever they want to call in. So, like said, Dylan, John Smith, if you ever want to call in, you want to have a chat with us directly, I think the whole community would like to see that. So, it's not just our thoughts, it's going to be the whole community's thoughts. And whether you come on here and you disagree with us and you have a completely different opinion, I'm sure the community would love to see it. So, yeah, I think going forward in Evtol Weekly, anyway, if anyone wants to call in, you're more than welcome. You can make the two Arthur brothers the Three Musketeers, so they... and I've no problem. We can have a few different people in. I think it'd be nice to get a few different insights. Bag of Holding, I'd love to have you on. And I'm sure loads of people would. So Bag of Holding, if you ever want to call in, do call in. Now the only rules, if people do call in, just please just be respectful. We'll be respectful to you, be respectful to us. But apart from that, what would you guys like to see from the channel going forward? So what you would be the only one. Guys, what would you like to see with the channel going forward? What we've tried to do, so we're trying to get videos out every day. We've tried to add these live streams. We're going to make the road to glory better. So at the moment, there's not enough traction on the road to glory for us to make it its own dedicated live stream. But I think we will grow it. But is there anything in particular you'd like to see? Or is there even a different sector that we could add to? So like, we're not going to pivot away from Evtol. This is our baby. We're going to grow this community. We want this to be the biggest, most active Evtol community here. We want to have not just bullish but bearish thoughts coming in. So I find some communities, I'm going to say it now, the likes of Reddit, they hate me on Reddit. But they only have their one philosophy. If you go against anything they say, they block you, they ban you. We've had a lot of our guys in Discord get banned from Reddit. So unless you follow their like agenda, they're going to block you. And that's why sometimes we all get lost in this bull mindset. And we tell each other it's all great and it's going to go up, it's going to double. Sometimes you need to get brought back to earth. And me and Bagger Holden have the banter with each other. But some things Bagger Holden does say to me, I do think about in my head, and I'm like, oh no, he is right. And I am sure he won't admit it. But some things I come out with on videos, he's going to think, well, maybe they are right. And one day, we will get Bagger Holden on either Midnight or an S4. We'll let him choose. And we'll have an interview together.
Yeah.
And I'll have a weigh-in scales before it to show him over 200 pounds. So like, it's win-win. Reese, is there anything you want to add to the stream going forward?
No,
add to the channel.
No, I think you've pretty much covered everything we were discussing before, and I think it's literally the road to glory now will maybe turn a bit more of attention to it and try and push it so that it can become its own stream. But prior to that, maybe it might be a video explaining the trades we've done in that week, because we need to get the community to sort of understand what it is, and if people aren't watching the live stream, they might not be aware that we are doing the road to glory. So maybe just clipping up either what we do at the end of the video or its own separate video explaining the trades in the week and where we're going. Because believe it or not, guys, we're going to get $107,000, and you're going to watch it. And you're the first people on board this ship. But that ship is getting to $107,000 by hook or by crook.
We're going to get there by hook or by crook, and you know what? A load of it is going to be in the likes of Archer and Joby, and when that goes up, that 107 will turn into 207, and like, mate, it's going to be exciting. Guys, we're going to cut across to the road to glory now. So, if any of you want to see our live trades as they happen, so me and Reese work full time, as you know. We can't be on during the day. However, going forward, we do want to make this a full-time thing. So make sure to bang that subscribe. However, going forward, we want to make this a full-time thing. So we will start bringing it back into the trading day once we go full-time. But what I'll do, I will share the screen here. I think this is when my audio went last time really badly. When I shared the screen, but we'll try. Alright, so we started from $107, that's in 114, but it was 107, I don't know why that's in 114. It doesn't matter, 114. Oh no, do you know what it is? So the $7 that we got was a Google share, and I think as Google's gone up, I presume? Or is it the exchange rate? I don't know.
No,
we can call it 114, whatever. We're now at 123.40. Yes, guys, it will get a lot more exciting than this. As we turn this into our little baby, we will.
I think it's very
similar. We'll start driving bigger moves.
Yeah, I think at the moment it's sort of been on the back burner with the movements around. So I was away, then Liam was away, then we've got Christmas week. So to be honest, the account's not really getting the love and care that it probably needs at this moment in time. But I can promise you in the new year, we're going to start seeing big developments on it. And you'll start seeing the big trades and the swings that we need. But it's just in its infancy at the moment, so let's not get carried away at this point.
So if we look at the likes of the Road to Glory, we show the trades as we make them. We drop them straight in. It's for entertainment, guys. We are not financial advisors. Do not follow us. I can promise you that we will get to $107 or $107, $107K. We might go to 107 first, many times. We will be making very risky trades. We want to do a little bit of options. So like some of you guys can teach us, because I'm going to tell you, me and Reese don't trade options, but I would like to do it live.
Yeah, I think
people
that'd be
can
good
learn from us then, like learn from our mistakes and stuff. A lot of the stuff we invest in, like if we invested in the likes of Joby and Archer and just that, it'd be very boring. No one would want to see that because we all do it anyway. So there's all different types of stock. Dylan Rogers requested for us to invest in Vertiv. So you can see there we invested in Vertiv. You then made a video about Vertiv. You done a deep dive into it. I actually quite like stock. Can't believe we never looked at it before. I would like to start doubling down as we're going through the process, but at the moment we only have $7 in it. Guys, please let us know if there's any stocks you think we should be looking at. If you want to see our trades as they're done, I promise I'm going to start being more active. Both me and Reese will be doing trades. We're always speaking to each other. So if you ever get a reply from us on the likes of YouTube or X or any of that, it could be any of us speaking to you. So there is the invite for Discord. Join Discord is free. It's a great community. I get a lot of my information. As we said at one point in the stream, Dylan Rogers is absolutely fantastic when it comes to getting information. I remember when I went away to the UK, Dylan Rogers was straight onto me. When I got back, he filled me in on absolutely everything that was there. But it's not just Dylan Rogers. We have a good guy in there. I think his name is DOA or something. He does a lot of charts. So I am very basic when it comes to charts. I do know how to read them. I do very basic charts. But this guy, mate, I'm not saying he predicted the Archer run, but mate, he called an awful lot as it happened. I'm not saying follow him, but it's nice to see the community interacting with each other. Like if I go into some of this chat here, it's really, really active, guys. I can do the same with Joby. But we have even the likes of just general stocks that people talk about. So I would like to see that start to grow out a little bit.
100%.
That's about it, Reese. I want to thank everyone for this year. I cannot thank everyone enough. The love and support we get is unbelievable.
Yeah, and I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and we're going to be back next year. We hope to see you guys all again, and hopefully there'll be some great news for us in the new year. Hope everyone stays safe, and anything you'd like to add there, Liam?
Yeah, no, so just thank you so much for everything you do, guys. You're what keeps us going. We have this passion for this whole topic, but without people to actually bang off with, we wouldn't still be here. So, no, thank you so much, and have a really Merry Christmas, and have a fantastic New Year, and we will be here every week, as we always are.
That's it. Can't get rid of us. Sound.
We'll
see you guys. See you next week.